What's up, guys? Welcome back to the That's So Dev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. We have some tea to get into. But before we get into the tea, make sure you go ahead and follow me at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. We got a bobbing over there, okay? And make sure you go stream my new singer on site. It's on thatsodev.com. Love that for you. Okay. I got to get it in there. Hello. But as you can tell by the title, we have a lot of girl group tea to talk about because what a time we are living in. No, because what do you mean? Apparently, and this wasn't on my bingo cards, right? 2026 is like a girl group takeover. And it's like a thing that clearly wasn't planned. But it's definitely something that is happening. And I can't believe it. I'm actually gagged. Genuinely. There's no way you could have convinced me of this a year ago, 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. But just kind of seeing things from where, you had Cat's Eye, you also had the group from Demon Hunters be nominated for a Grammy, as well as Flow. I mean, you have Say Now, you have Fifth Harmony coming back together to do a little something something this year. Little Mix is literally reuniting like every other day. But like if the word on the block is true, Leanne might release a live version of Little Mix, Woman Like Me rock version. So, maybe a little something, something there. Um, but you also have the Pussycat Dolls, who have just announced a tour and a new song that they just dropped with their new lineup of just three, which is interesting. Um, so I guess let's chat about it just really quickly, right? It's interesting as I sip my water, pretending it's tea. I should have made some, but it's interesting. Half the group isn't there. And I just wonder, at what point do you say no? And I don't actually mind them coming back together. I don't. I really don't. But just the idea of a six-member group coming back as three is just kind of crazy to me. I listened to the song. I just finished my reaction. And, you know, first of all, I like the beat. um, I like that because Nicole was obviously the center of the group and pretty much all of the vocals, it didn't change the sound of the song. So it still felt like I was listening to a Pussycat Dolls song. It didn't feel like it was a song from Nicole. Um, and that chorus was really catchy. The second verse was better. If I say one more time, I'm literally gonna go crazy. But genuinely, the second verse was so good. The first verse had me like, um, okay. It was a miss for me. It was, and it had me a little worried. But when the chorus came in, it went crazy. And it's like after the chorus, they just found their footing in the song. That's what it felt like. But I definitely give it a 7.5 out of 10. I loved React in 2020. It was no React, but it was the aesthetic and the feel that I expect and would expect from the Pussycat Dolls. So snaps and claps to them. I love that. Flo is about to release. I said again. Like what? What is going on? But Flo released, not released. They were supposed to leak it this week, but it was pushed back a week. And I think it's because they wanted to film a video. But my thing is, right? Excuse me. I'll drink my water, child. But it videos really don't matter anymore in the sense, right? Not generally, but in the sense of it being kind of like a promotional tool to help your song's success. So releasing it at the same time, it doesn't really matter, right? And I think at this point, strategically separating song from the video, at this point, it makes sense. Stretching out the life of your song, especially if it's a song that doesn't immediately pop off. Maybe the visuals can do a little something, something for it. The idea, right? So I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. But they pushed the song back to, as suspected, release it with a video, which I'm not mad at. I'm just like, I want the song now because it's so good. It's so good. And it's very clear that the internet, that the world is interested in hearing this entire song. It sounds so good. They sound so good. It sounds like a genuine rebirth for Flo. Genuinely. And I love that, right? It's almost feeling like a rebrand because this is how you step after you win a Grammy. Not win a Grammy, but you get nominated, right? After you get to that stature, things shift as they should. But because when I look at Cat's Eye, I hearing Internet Girl after getting a Grammy nomination was insane, and I cannot believe they did that. I even as just a standalone, like that should have just been left in a draft, right? Performed it live, let it go after, fine, whatever. But ooh, it just sounds so kids bop, girl. But it is what it is, Um, I think that for their next project, they will surely, I mean, surely change directions. I'm hoping, right? And I think Internet Girl is the product of the gnarly criticisms not being taken as serious because of the song's success. Because you sold gnarly to me, even though the song's terrible. You sold it to me. I listened to it simply because of the performance and choreography that makes the song. There is no song without it. And Internet Girl is what happens when that criticism, as I said, is not truly taken serious. Because ain't no way. Ain't no way. So here's the hoping that this next project is a bit more mature in sound, direction, skill, because they have the skill, they have the vocals, they can sing. Whoever's working with them needs to give them the songs and the space to do that. When people try to control groups, it doesn't work out. It does not work out. They actually end up sabotaging the group because allowing them that space is when they're really going to build that chemistry. I mean, Cat's Eye is a group, right? That essentially is being built through a K-pop formula on American-based soil. But the people behind the group, right? Half is based here, but the other half isn't. And that half is not used to, and it's so clear that they are not used to the kind of criticisms that come from here, specifically about girl groups and how people view them and what people want to see. I think it's a bit of a culture shock to them because you can clearly see them continue to try to use the same formulas that would work for them in most cases, but it's not going to here. And it's the reason why groups from outside of the country often peak at a certain level here. they surely may hit the Billboard Hot 100s and sell here for sure, right? But the success that would usually come from a person that gets that level of success, it just it's not the same, right? The general public doesn't latch onto it as much. And so when it comes to Cat's Eye coming from American based soil, more American eyes are on them. So when you have moments even where a member is missing, well, what do you mean a member is missing? So a member was sick. Why didn't you reschedule and wait until everybody was available? Because imagine if Fifth Harmony did a photo shoot while Camila was in there and somebody was not in the photo shoot, right? I mean, you missed the performance, you were sick, right? Like, totally, that happens. But whoa, a music video? Without a member? Like, even as Cat's Eye, we're still six. Like, you're telling me that Cat's Eye is just a brand. Like, you all are Cat's Eye together. That is the point of the groups. That is how we view them here, right? Unless somebody actually leaves the group. So I think it's a culture shock. And I think they're still adjusting. Apparently, this is controversial, but so Cat's Eye has a Grammy nomination, which is so interesting, right? Because in what world does, Gabriella get a Grammy nomination, but Work From Home doesn't? It's interesting, right? But I often tell people too, like, Fifth Harmony really paved the way. And I know nobody wants to acknowledge that because, sure, Little Mix sold this, blah, 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 outside. Look, everybody wants the success that Fifth Harmony had in this market, in this country. They had that all outside the country too, but they had it here where it mattered to everybody else. And so everybody likes to make fun of Fifth Harmony until it's time to use their recipe for success. That's just a fact. I mean, come on. I mean, we had the Awesomeness TV and all of that shit. Like, it was crazy. They really invested in their fans, in their fan base, in a way that I had not seen. And it worked out so well for them. Genuinely. I mean, like, come on now. Even to this day, you got them ready to go as soon as you pop up. Period. No questions asked. Even if the other girls was dragging you, okay? They still showing up. But, you know, I just... girl groups are very interesting to me because I always say that they are the standard of the industry. They are everything that a person expects from a performer. It's true. They do everything. They do all of it. I mean, they bring every part of the music alive. Because when you have a soul artist, they can't sing every part of it. They can't sing the harmonies and everything. Like, you just see all the moving parts with a girl group, and it's so wonderful. It's true. When I think of like, when I think of a Solidified versus a One Direction, obviously there's no comparison, but when I listen to Solidified, that's what I think of as a group, right? Like, that's a group to me. But One Direction is like a band to me, genuinely. It's not that I mean, they were. It's a total difference to me. It's like it's like a in sync, and I don't know how many of you know who this is, but the group Next, like, like it's just, you know what I mean? Two totally different things, and you can't even necessarily say because yes, One Direction is all white, but Solidified is half white and half black, so yeah, the flavor is in there, but also at the same time, you know. I don't know, because them white boys got soul as fuck. Like, it's a gag to me. I'm not used to being latched onto a boy group band, whatever the hell you're gonna call them at this point. I'm not used to that. It's interesting because, excuse me, y'all, I'm eating a what is this? This hard candy shit. I don't know what the name is. Anyway, so I'm just not used to standing a boy band, boy group. Like, but they have The harmonies, like they have everything that a girl group would serve me like. They're not mid, they're not just like in t-shirt and jeans on stage, just you know what I mean? Like they're doing the whole damn nine. So it's gagging me. I'm looking their way. They're obviously not a girl group, but like I said, like the expectations that people have on girl groups, because we talk about it all the time, because One Direction could run around the stage with, like I just said, t-shirt and jeans, but Fifth Harmony had to have coordinated matching outfits or people thought they looked fucking crazy. So to see a group of boys do that, insane. I love it. And you can also tell that they have the best chemistry. Genuinely. Like they are family. You can tell. So also, because we cannot forget, okay? Frequency. Hello. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Snaps and claps, because obviously my girl Nori, she is dating. I forgot his name, but you know that's my clean girlie, and I know she dating somebody in Solidified. So, anyhow, them girls can sing, right? Right? They can sing down. Now, I didn't care too much for the EP that they dropped. Hate that, but it is tea. Um, I enjoyed their first single. The follow up single, I didn't feel like it was sufficient enough to be a follow up single for that song, especially because, like, I mean, obviously the song hit, but then we also got to see the behind the scenes of how that song kind of came together and the energy just kind of surrounding it. Just, it was too powerful to not follow up with something. Like, the next song felt like, okay, you can release this song, but we like this song and you should release this next. That's kind of what that felt like. I don't know if that was the case, but T, it felt like a song that somebody else picked that they didn't entirely think should come next, but not that they necessarily didn't like it, but it probably shouldn't have came next. That's just the energy I'm getting from that. But anywho, yeah, I mean, they sounded great on it. I would give it, for me personally, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. But overall, like, I mean, just looking at the general creation of a song, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. But circumstances around it, yeah, ciao. But let me tell you, the telephone song, girl, that was the perfect follow up to their first single. I think that would have been perfect. Genuinely. It sounds like they, kickstarted that shit again. Snaps and claps to them. Ate that up. Uh huh. For sure. Ate that up. I was like, y'all sound so strong in the vocals. I can also tell that you wrote it. And that's what I'm also loving, right? Because with Fifth Harmony, with Little Mix, like there was so much control over these groups. I mean, even back to the Pussycat Dolls. I mean, there was so much control over them. To where Fifth Harmony couldn't even pick the color of their lip gloss that day. Imagine that. Imagine having no control down to that. I tell people all the time, the best music lawyer in the music industry said that they had the worst contracts she had ever seen. And she got Tupac's music from Death Row, mind you. So, hello, wake that up. Girl, Fifth Harmony story needs to be told, especially for these girl groups. It's true. But it's just the simple fact that, the groups, especially from the 2010s, they weren't able to write their music. I mean, Fifth Harmony, thankfully, got a writing credit on All in My Head Flex. You know, I think that there was their first real writing credit. And it was a song that I felt was so culturally um, aligned with all of them that it made sense that that song came together just like that. And you can also tell when they perform it too, they feel it on a different level. I think because it really incorporates every which way they come from around the world. So love that for them. Um, but yeah, seeing groups like Flow, Say Now, Frequency be able to go into studios and write their music and have such a hold on their creative process and be able to be in spaces where even Georgia has said, she's the one that be putting her foot down and all that stuff. And I'm just amazed that they have these levels of control because, again, I know people don't want to hear me out because saying this is gonna diminish someone else's success or what they have done, and it hasn't. But Fifth Harmony did break a lot of those doors down for these girls to have the success in these spaces. Because I mean, ever since the Pussycat Dolls were 20 years ago, Work From Home was 10 years ago. It was a whole fucking decade where there was nothing, right? But somehow, Fifth Harmony busted through the gates, even though every single person who they ever came across doubted them. Ever, I mean, it's literally on video. Britney Spears shocked that Fifth Harmony makes it to the finale. Like, they've been the underdog their entire career. Yet, despite that, make literal girl group history. So, when I see a lot of groups where they're able to get these Grammy nominations with half, not even half, fractions of the impact of their music in the mainstream space, it really allows you to see the door that was broken down, because at that point they really started taking girl groups more serious. Like, oh, Fifth Harmony popped up in the top 5. Wait, what the fuck? For real? After that, they began to take girl groups way more serious. And I specifically remember after Fifth Harmony going on hiatus, because BTS really started coming into the picture more, and Blackpink more, and Blackpink really kind of carried a torch inside the US, because although Little Mix was continuously successful worldwide, the US, they weren't really getting that mainstream success. But Blackpink was able to keep the girl group space legitimized, right? After Fifth Harmony left, because even the VMAs was sitting here nominating Fifth Harmony up for 3 or 4, I want to say 3 actually, VMAs after Camila left, for songs and work after she left, not for work that included her, right? I tell people all the time, the song immediately after she left was their biggest sales debut of their career, and girl groups historically sell less. So there's a lot of claps that need to be given, and snaps and flowers that need to be given to this group. You can call them messy, you can call them crazy all you want to, but does anybody want to talk about why the group is messy? Why they were having those difficult times? Because literally go look at their tour schedule. There was never a time that they were not on tour. So much that they had to literally miss funerals and still perform shows, and they're crying on stages and in distress. And imagine they're going through all this shit, and these videos go viral 10 years later, and people are calling you messy and, like, oh, the worst girl group, blah, 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 because they're sitting here judging some of your hottest fucking moments on stage. Like, it's unreal, actually. So that's why I'm like, Fifth Harmony needs to tell their story, because there is the massive misconception. And I don't feel like they feel the need to address it. I feel like they don't. I feel like some days they probably think about it. Like, we probably should. We definitely need to. But none of that ever seems to phase them. Like, they have taken on the aesthetic of being like, they're like, okay, it's to a point now where we can make jokes about it. Like, we own whatever it is that you're saying, because we still know that we eat, and they do. It doesn't matter what you say. They still be eating, chewing it down. Came back in the Jonas Brothers concert, and hello. No matter what was said, y'all was gagging. The girls was gagging. Twitter stopped for a quick second. I'm telling you now. So whatever they got planned, I'm ready for it. Okay. So, oh girl. Anyway, frequency, flow, say now. All of y'all writing your music. I love that. I think that that's a clear sign of the progression that we've had with groups. And it's also a clear picture of what can happen if you allow them to grow and have space and do and make music the way they want. Well, just saying. Say now, that Millions video, just finished my reaction to that as well. Beautiful. The effects, the white background, girl groups with white background. It's iconic. I mean, the vocals on that song, fantastic. They wrote it. There's so many levels to that song. There is. And when people hear, a pop song, sometimes they can just kind of castrate it off as, oh, the label made you force it and release this bubblegum pop song. But at the end of the day, they wrote it. And this is a group that's clearly telling you that they have a dream. They live for the finer things. They honestly want the most out of their life. And I think that mirrors this idea that they want the most out of their careers and they want to see new heights. And they also understand their worth. Like, I feel like there's a bunch of levels to it, right? Because there's a general message of a song just being out, but then the layer of we wrote that in the perspective of where that kind of came from, knowing where they are in their career versus where they started and having this goal of where they're going to go as a group. So that's just how I view it. A beautiful song. Love it. Gagged. And I can't wait to hear what comes next for all of these girl groups. It's an amazing year for girl groups. I'm so excited. So you better believe I'll be on the lookout and discussing it. Anyhow, I'm hopping off here though for now because I'm actually going to go rewatch the Say Now video. Like I said, I'm hopping off here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into that Sowdev podcast where you stay true and stay you. Okay, make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at that Sowdev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. I appreciate you. I'm hopping off here, and I will be seeing you on the next podcast. Peace.